Hi everybody, this is Clarine from In Rainy's Room. Today we're going to be making a tag album, and I'm calling this one Denim and Diamonds because it's got a lot, obviously, the color is all in denim and a lot of little rhinestones, a lot of glitter. This is the front. There's actually 6 tags that make up the book. And behind each tag is a photo template, so you can put photos and maybe even write notes on the back, whatever you want to do. And then that just slides right in behind each of your sentiments. I actually designed 6 different sentiments. On the back of each one is a little pocket for like a pair of jeans, and there's room in here because there's gussets, so you can slide something in there. Possibly a little treat or just a note. And then each of the sentiments is different. Just show you what they kind of look like. It's really fun dressing it up with the rhinestones. And for the glitter, I used stickles, which is always fun to work with. Here's another one. And then that's the last one. And then this is the back of your album. So let's get started, and then you can make one for yourself. Now I started out with a graphic 45 tag, their large one, but I don't like the big holes that they have in them. So I made a copy of it, I brought it into my scan and cut, and then I just punched a hole up here that's smaller. And then I cut 6 of those, and then you want to put it in the score board and score it at 3 3/4, so it will fold in half. And this is the base for each one of those little tags. That's why you're going to cut 6 of these. Then for your backgrounds, you're going to cut 6 4x4 with a front tag. That's going to be going here, and I'll show you how to put that together. And then there's also a tag that's going to be going on the back, and you'll cut 6 of those, and they are 4x5, and those are going to go on the back side just like this. So I did 6 different colors also, because I wanted them to coordinate. I didn't want them to all be the same. And I'll show you how to put that together. We're just going to put one together today, and then you'll know how to put all 6 of them because it takes a little while to put this together, but it's a lot of fun. All right, so let's start off. I'll give you the measurements as we go along. Let's start off with this, and I used glue for just about everything. And what I did was, this is going to be the inside one. This is that 4x4. You want to cover the hole. So I'm going to glue it on here so that there is an edge around that I'm going to be cutting out. So I'm going to put the glue on the background itself, all the way down, coming down about 3/4 of the way, because it's not going to show. Get around that hole, and then a little zigzag in the middle. So I'm going to put that up here. And line it up back here so that I have a little edge around it. And then I'm going to cut that out. Those scissors are too big. I'll get something smaller. I want to get a little closer to the edge here, like that. There we go. Now, I did not bring my hole punch out to my work area here. So I'm going to improvise and be sure to get that hole poked out. Just going to use my scissors. But when I do the rest of these, I, of course, will be using my hole punch because it just looks better. But this will get us through the demonstration. Then this is going to be sitting like that. See, this is not quite even over here. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit because obviously when I burnished this one, it wasn't perfect. So we'll just line that up there. There we go. All right, now we're going to put this longer piece. This is the one that was 4 by 5 that's going to be going on the back side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be putting my glue here down to here because this is the only part that's going to show. This is kind of a distressed blue. I had fun picking out these colors. So it's going to go down like that. So what I'm going to do is glue that on. Making sure you get your edges. Just a little zigzag in the middle just to hold that in place. And come down here. And I'll lay this on here. Leaving a little edge. There'll be a little edge around it. See how that ends right there at the fold? There we go. Let's burnish that glue down real good. And then I'm going to trim these edges right up close. Now I chose not to distress my colored parts because there's so much white on here anyway. I just like the cleaner look, especially with the little rhinestones. Kind of gives it a shinier look. I've made many of these tags, and some of them I distress, some of them I don't. Okay. And then we're going to improvise again with my hole punch. Okay, there we go. And then this is the back side. All right, now this is the one that was folded up. This is that 3 3/4 fold that we made. On the front of this is going to be my sentiment. Now you're going to cut 6. I designed 6 different ones like I showed you when I went through the album. And these are cut at 3.5 by 3.5. And they're going to go right on the front. And I'm going to round the corners because the corners of the original tag are rounded. So I'll just clip those. And in there. I like this sentiment, that's why I picked it for the front. It says, "True friends are never apart, maybe in distance, but never in heart." I like that. All right, so this is going to go on the front like that, centered. So let me glue that on. I originally made these, oh goodness, a long time ago, several years ago, and I used a kit from Raspberry Road Designs, which is a digital designing company. And it was called Denim and Diamonds. So of course, I've had this for a long, long time, and it's been retired. So I'm going to center that in the middle, get a nice edge around the whole thing. Press that down. There we go. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of this back side showing, which I don't want. So I'm going to just trim that off, being careful not to cut into the score line there. Okay, so that's our front one. Now we're going to be putting in some gussets. And to do that, we're going to cut 12 of these gussets. And they measure 1 by 3. I've put them in the score board and creased them just down the middle. And this is so that we can slide those little photo maps in. Alright, so now we're going to be putting those along this line right here, one on each side, up about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little better. So I'm going to snip off the corner, just a little triangle. Then that's going to lay right like that. And I'll snip another triangle. Doesn't have to be exact, nobody sees it, but it'll do its job. And then that's going to go here. The score side is the one that goes right on the edge, not inside. You want it right on the edge. So let me glue those down. Just put that up about a little better than 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8, and putting it right up against the side, like that, and then burnish it. Squish that glue around. Then this other one is going to go right across from it. So I'll put some glue on here. I'm kind of going about the same distance up. I'll lay that in there. Put that right up against the edge. There we go. And then I'll burnish it. And then we want it to hold in place, so I'm going to glue this side down as well. And I'll just press it down. There we go. Okie dokie. So we've got the first little tag in our tag book. And then after that dries, I'll try and squeeze it a little bit here. But as you can see, it'll leave a nice pocket in there. And after that dries, it's very strong and durable. So inside of that pocket, we're going to be putting a little photo template album. Well, no, pad, a little photo pad. So you'll need 3 things. And remember, you're going to be cutting 6 of everything. So for the photo mat itself, you'll cut 6 that are 4 by 3.5. And we want to round the edges. So I'm going to do that. And then I made a different design for each side of the photo mat, just to give it a little more color and character. So you're going to cut out of 2 different patterned papers. You're going to cut 6 that are 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we'll round those edges as well. These really go together pretty simple. I was lucky that the designer had so many wonderful papers to choose between, and we had a good time. And so the other side, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have 6 that are 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we'll round those corners. This is just a little We Are Memory Keepers tool. They have 3 sizes in here. Pretty useful to add to your supplies. Okay. So then we are going to simply glue one on each side. I'm just going to center it so that it goes around the edge. Don't forget to get your corners. And then a big zigzag in the middle just to hold it in place. Put that right here. I'm going to have to lay it down to center it, I think. Yep, there we go. Burnish it on down. And this other one is going to go on the other side, just like that. Little edge around there, looks good. Oops. Burnish that down. Now I wanted to tell you also that this little mat, when you pull it out and you do your picture on the inside, the picture is 3 1/4. You just made it a little bit smaller than your other frame. So whatever size, if you want it bigger, you can make it bigger, but that's kind of the guide that I used. All right, so this will go right in here, right between those gussets. Look at that, you've got your first one already done. Okay, now on the back of this card, on all 6 of them, I put these little pockets. So you're going to cut 6. I cut out pockets, but whatever you decide to cut out, it's 3 3/4 square area. And since I cut these out, I wanted to put some little gussets inside. So these are 1 by 1 1/2. And just like the other gusset, I scored it diagonally, burnished the edge. And I'll make a little cut up here in the corner so your mat can just slide in, or whatever you put in there. There's no limit. I designed a bunch of these one time for a friend of mine, and she put little tea bags. We didn't use the pockets, we used just another 3 3/4 square coloration, and then she just put her little tea tea bags in there. It was darling. So this I'm going to put up about the same. It's about 1/4 of an inch, and I'll put it right on the edge. There's just so many things that you can do with this little tag. I think that's why they're getting popular, really. You can personalize things. So I'm going to glue this side. Oopsie. Glue up there. I'll put that on here. Now whatever you put in here, or if you choose not to put anything in there, just glue it on the back. It'll be just as cute. You don't want it to fall through. So I am going to glue the bottom part here. And of course this is where the tag's going to be held on with. So I'll glue this down as well. And we'll center that about in here. Burnish that down. And believe it or not, that's practically all there is to it. Now, you'll be able to slide things in here, but that's drying, so I don't want to pry it up too much, but things will slide in here. Okay, now a couple other things that I did was I wanted to glitz it up, so I brought in, this is called Stickles. It's a glue, but it has glitter in it, so the glitter doesn't come off or anything once it dries, and it takes about half an hour or so for it to dry. I outlined my flowers, and I, did a bunch of glitter around here just to bring out the color. I also got some little rhinestones, and where did I put those? Well, I'll just take it off the big place here. And I added rhinestones. Now these have sticky stuff on the back. Unless you take the whole strip and use it, by the time you manhandle it, it really doesn't hold well. So when I use rhinestones, I always put a dab of glue where it's going to go. And you just set that on there, tap it down, and of course you'd have to line up 6, do this backside, let it dry. It takes a good 2 hours, and then you can turn it over and do the other side. And this is what it looks like. You can see the glitter down here. I don't know if it shows up, and there's the rhinestones. And then on the other side I did a lot of rhinestones and glitter. And I have these teeny tiny ones. I added those rather than, I wanted to have 2 sizes. But I gotta tell you, those tiny ones are really hard to work with. So let me show you how I did it. And if you've got a better way, that's great. Again, these come on a long strip. So you generally cut down here. And then you just take the whole strip. It comes up. And you could lay it like along something. But I'm just going to kind of put them around just for the glitter of it. So what I did was I went and just put a drop of glue here and there where I'm going to put the rhinestones. And this is the only way I could figure out to do it. I had to drag it off that board and then bring it over here. You just maneuver it. I kind of stood it on its side I'm sure somebody else has an easier way to do this. I haven't found one yet. So believe it or not, I did this on all 6 of my pages. Oh, come on, get in there. Trying to flip him over, but he doesn't want to flip. There he goes. So I brought him, scooted him over to the glue. Thank goodness the glue dries clear. There he goes. It's crazy, but I wanted it on there, so I did it. And that's how I did all of these. I just, the little ones. And then I used the glitter to glitter it up. So, okay. It's all held together with these little book rings. I always called them O-rings. But you just line them all up, slide them through here, and get them all lined up. And then you just tie it with a bow. Okay. There you have it. Your Raspberry Road Denim and Diamond album. Now, you got to make 5 more. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.